I'm standing next to the beautiful 2019 Land Rover Discovery. This is the TD6 model, which means it is a 6-cylinder diesel with over 8,000 pounds of towing capacity, which is very impressive for a unibody crossover. The Discovery has really come into its own and starting to blur the lines between the Discovery Land Rover and the Range Rover line under the Land Rover umbrella. The luxury appointments are exquisite, including massaging seats. I really think they've gone just above and beyond, and I'm very impressed with the configuration, the packaging, and the pricing. Pricing starts under $60,000. The diesel model is available in the SE, HSE, and HSE Lux. Loaded out, you're going to be pushing over $80,000, but you're getting a lot for your money. It has a lot of amazing features. It's a Land Rover, so of course it's going to have all the off-road capabilities. It's even got a new system for measuring how much water you're in. It checks the level of the weighting that you're doing. Very impressive. As far as reliability, time will tell, but for now, I think they've really put themselves on the map as a differentiator for people looking for kind of a family crossover, but with that ability or option to do some serious off-roading. I love the seating configuration. You have basically a 7-row configuration. A lot of these vehicles in this segment, they try and cram 3 people into that 3rd row. Not Land Rover, only 2, and I think that is very important. So under the hood, you have a 3-liter V6 turbocharged diesel engine producing 254 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This thing just pulls like a donkey. No wonder it's got over 8,000 pounds of towing. That's a lot of towing. That's a good-sized boat. That's a decent-sized trailer. So if that's something that's important to you, and then once you get there, you want the option to go off-roading. So this is really a great way to go. So I really like what they've done with the powertrain. Diesels have kind of gotten a bad name over the last few years, and that's too bad because there are still some good diesels. Let's hope there are no scandals like with other brands with this particular one, but so far so good. I think it still is an option for some people. You get better fuel economy, and you get obviously a lot more torque. Maybe you don't get quite the 0 to 60, but in my opinion, it's got plenty of get up and go. Well, we didn't get to do a lot of off-roading, but we know Land Rover's capable. We don't need to take it off-roading to see just how capable it is. What I want to show you is how capable it is on-road. As you can see, all that torque means great acceleration. And the vehicle is just so high-tech, maybe too high-tech for me. I wouldn't mind the Land Rover brand sticking with analog gauges and proper switches, but it's evolution. I just prefer that. I just think it's more reliable, especially if you are going to take it off-roading. And I think more people are going to take a Land Rover off-roading than they will a Range Rover. Range Rover to me is much more luxurious, even though as you can see from the interior, this thing is just gorgeous. We have full digital infotainment screen, full digital gauges, and just a ton of information right at your fingertips. I really like what they've done here. They have really stepped it up. Even something as simple as the cruise control, it's just touch of a button and it comes on. This is actually a very delicate, sensitive button, but feels like it's got some durability in it. I keep going back to the horsepower and torque of this diesel. Horsepower may not impress you, but the torque, those numbers, 443 and over 8,000 pounds of towing, that is extremely impressive. So to be able to take 25, 26-foot boat to the lake or to the ocean and luxury, that definitely is something to be said. One of my favorite features is right here. Massaging seats. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a very impressive vehicle from Land Rover. The seats are comfortable, good visibility, good seating position, good handling. The suspension is solid. There's so much less body roll than the outgoing model. Again, we're in the top end model and you have the air suspension, which is a nice feature. Is it necessary? Probably not, but it's nice to have. You can raise and lower the vehicle. You've got all your different settings from normal to mud and snow, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, you name it. Would have loved to actually test out the crawl control to see how it compares with Toyota. I hear it's very similar, and I would have no doubt the Range Rover guys, Land Rover guys really did a good job. But you really have to get in here, just feel the fit and finish of all the pieces. This is not what you would find in a Discovery 10 years ago. You had a lot of pretty cheap bits back then. Now they seem to have borrowed more and more from the Range Rover brand, and it really shows. I'm impressed. I think they've done a tremendous job with this vehicle. Hard to find a lot of flaws, except, of course, the Land Rover reliability factor, which is still somewhat of an unknown. Plenty of cargo room in this Discovery. Right now we have the seats folded down. You also have this nice little deck lid, which I really like. So rather than a split tailgate that you see with a lot of vehicles, what they've done is kind of this little interior concealed split lift gate. I like it because it keeps things in when you need to, but when you don't, you have it here, and it's actually a really nice platform for setting things, and it's very easy to get to the rear of the third row. So it's roomy enough, but not over the top, and it is automatic. So if you want to close it, you just kind of hold this. Kind of has that clamshell. So really like it. Overall, just love the design. I love what they've done. I really can't believe that this is a Discovery, because they've come such a long way. When you look at the first Discoveries, those left something to be desired. Well, let's face it, you tuned in here because you either want to be entertained or you really want to know about the Land Rover Discovery. Hopefully it's the latter, and as a bonus, hopefully I can entertain you a little bit. Like I've always said, take a 15-minute test drive and you'll learn very little about the car. Spend a full week and you'll learn a lot more, which is exactly what we've done. I've driven past Discoveries, LR4s. They've had some issues with the naming, but they're settled on Discovery. And I really like where this vehicle is fitting into the lineup. I think it's one of the more unique vehicles on the road today, and that's not easy to do, especially in the SUV world. It has a certain heritage about it, tons of capabilities. The Discovery has some distinctive look about it, which is not easy to do in today's SUV crossover world. And then it also has, I don't want to say unrivaled capabilities, but I'll put it in a small group with Jeep Grand Cherokee and Toyota Land Cruiser. This is a serious off-roading. This vehicle has serious off-roading capabilities, and 99% of first owners probably won't use it, so it's almost not worth talking about. let's just say I've driven other Land Rover products in very extreme conditions. They're impressive. They blew me away, what they could do. And again, what you would do in a typical ownership cycle, 3 to 4 years, won't even scratch the surface. Maybe if you buy a Jeep Wrangler, that could be the exception, but maybe if you buy a Jeep Wrangler, that's the exception. But for a vehicle like this, it's $80,000. It's just too nice to take off-roading. So let's focus on road, because it's not easy to be a leader off-road and on-road. This is something that Jeep Wrangler has struggled with for decades. Finally, they're learning. Most of our buyers don't take it off-road as much as we think, so we need to make it comfortable when they're on-road. And this is beyond comfortable. The seats are that European firm. And what I mean by that is getting in a seat of the Discovery, compare it to, let's just say, a Lexus RX or a Lincoln Aviator, for example. It just feels different. In the past, Land Rover as a brand has done a really good job of separating the Range Rover line from its regular line, but I think now the lines are getting blurred as the Range Rovers get more and more expensive. This is kind of filling in the gap. And offering people something in the 50s all the way up to the 80s, which is a very broad range for this vehicle, but that's what we have here. This is a differentiator for someone shopping in this segment, but also wanting to tow or haul. This vehicle lets you do that. But as a daily commuter, as a family hauler, soccer child picker-upper, it's really nice. I don't think it's a vehicle that's on a lot of people's shopping list, and it should be. I think when you look at let's just say the average transaction price, probably in the mid-60s to upper 60s, that's a pretty broad range of competitors. And I'm going to definitely start listing this on more recommendations when people ask me. It really wasn't even on my radar. I didn't realize that they had improved so much from the outgoing model, but they have, and it's extremely impressive. Nice head-up display. Just everything about it is rock solid. My only question is, how will it hold up? Historically, Land Rover, Jaguar products have not done very well. So we'll see. They're under new ownership. They have been for several years now. It seems to be better, but really the ultimate test is going to be in the next few years as those early models get ready to expire. I'm Ron Doran. Thank you for watching. See you next time on The Driver's Seat.